I'm not afraid to admit it. The Winthrop Rockefeller Foundation has made some investments that didn't go well, didn't work out the way we intended. We just plain old failed.
It's interesting that the Winthrop Rockefeller Foundation has been around for over 40 years. And if you think about 40 years in the life of a human being, conventional wisdom usually tells us, it usually takes about that long to realize how important and inevitable failure is.
One aspect of failure is taking risks. Not taking risks means that nothing will change. But here's the key, that if we don't take that risk, if we don't fall flat, if we don't embrace failure as part of the journey, then we're always playing it safe. And when has playing it safe ever transformed anything?
The Winthrop Rockefeller Foundation was the first foundation to make a program-related investment in Alt Consulting CDFI, which was the smaller of the two community development financial institutions. That was risky. We were a small organization at the time.
They're not looking for us to always give them the answer that you think they want to hear. They want you to really come back to them with what you see as real, what's feasible, what's working, and what's not.
The merger in 2014 between Alt Consulting, which was heavily focused on economic development, and Community Resource Group, which was focused on the infrastructure. Two organizations becoming stronger by going together. Because in a lot of communities, we might be the last one standing, really, to be able to provide services there.
And I think it's the same thing for the foundation, that over the course of our work, we feel like we've made progress. We've certainly been connected to community. We've become the beloved foundation of Arkansas. But in all of that, we've actually learned that failure is an important part of the things that we do.
We've not felt like every single thing we did had to work. Because, frankly, if this work were easy, somebody else would have done it a long time ago. So we're constantly taking risks and calculated risks, but learning.
Now, it's not just enough to learn that failure is an important part of what you do, but you also have to learn to embrace failure. And I actually think that's the hard part. If you fail enough times and get back up, you learn it's going to happen. But the change is when you begin to embrace failure, when you begin to think about the work that you do in terms that aren't just focused on, what sort of impact can I have or what sort of change can I make, but begin thinking about in terms of what can we learn. And honestly, failure is the one place where you probably learn the most.
We did a $100,000 grant to the Arkansas Department of Education. In fact, they've been a great partner all along, and we've made many grants to them. But this one in particular, we did $100,000 for them to develop a plan for the state of Arkansas, a systemic approach to reforming education, as we say. Always want education reform. So they hired the consultants, they did the focus groups, they pulled people together. They created a plan. But it's not a plan that we were able to work with. And what we learned from that is there's a level of readiness that the Department of Education has to have, that communities have to have. There's a level of readiness that we have to even implement a plan. There is a commitment and dedication that we need. And we really didn't have the engagement of residents, parents, teachers, communities. Forward Arkansas emerged from our failed attempts at planning with the department early on. So Forward Arkansas is a partnership between the Walton Family Foundation, Winthrop Rockefeller Foundation, the Arkansas Department of Education, and the State Board of Education. This journey towards Forward Arkansas actually taught us some very valuable lessons. One lesson, philanthropy must embrace its leadership, its role in transforming complex systems and policies. If philanthropy doesn't provide those dollars to do so, then we will still have the same old. We have to take that risk, and we have to get engaged in those conversations. Creating the conditions for change, especially change in education, it takes time. Timing is everything. We had to be patient, wait for the right moment, but even more importantly, we had to be ready when that moment came. Authentic relationships are absolutely critical for this kind of complex transformation. And the foundation firmly held on to its core value that we have to be transparent and we have to work authentically and engage community. Community by community is actually the key to where we are now with Forward Arkansas.
It's so community-based is that a lot of times it's real organic, and it has to be organic. And so when you creating organic work, that means that you gotta a lot of times take risks with allowing the process to just work, and you allow individuals to actually figure it out.
Now, you can't iterate without failing. And we feel like iteration in the ideas that we have and the ideas that are presented through community is part of this process that's going to get us to higher impact. We're learning that we have to be willing to not just fail ourselves as an institution, but in some ways we have to be willing to invest in the ability of others to try out things that they're not quite sure are going to work, but that they have an idea might have an impact.
The University of Arkansas, Fayetteville School of Social Work approached WRF about this fabulous idea of encouraging young people to save money. We supported them or invested $100,000 in the University of Arkansas, the School of Social Work, with the Economic Opportunity Agency of Washington County to get students to open up savings accounts. That attracted 8 students. And of those 8 students, only 4 saved enough to get matching dollars. Let's be honest, it failed. But failure is how we learn and grow. So we went back to the drawing board. In 2015, we awarded another $13,000 to the School of Social Work for them to actually go out in community and find the right partner. And we found the perfect partner in the Arkansas Coalition of Marshallese. The foundation provided the Arkansas Coalition of Marshallese a $30,000 grant. And they were able to leverage that grant in partnership with the U of A School of Social Work with the United Way of Northwest Arkansas. A $250,000 grant from the United Way got the savings accounts off the ground. So 200 students started savings accounts for their future. So what did we learn from all that? That investment in a new idea combined with the openness to keep trying to make it work, because it is important to us for young people in our state to learn to save. And we thought that through this partnership, we would start this model that could then spread to other parts of the state. We also learned that partners needed to develop the right skills, have the right network, have the right organizations, had to really think through how, in working with community, we actually include community voice. And then we also learned that a community-based organization with local relationships is absolutely necessary to get a youth savings program that's better than anything we could have imagined.
Whenever they say that they will help you, they go with you all the way.
They work directly with their current grantees, their potential grantees, to best understand what it is they need to create impact. Instead of creating a culture where we're beating the odds, they're helping us create a culture where we're changing the odds.
The idea of failure seems risky to people. And in philanthropy, one of the things that's happened is we become risk averse. Now part of that is because as staff members at foundations, as board members, as trustees at foundations, we have this responsibility to the vision of whoever it is left the money that we're working with. But what I think's happened is we've allowed that responsibility to make us so risk averse that we're not willing to take chances.
They've accompanied us in every step of us growing ever since 2012. When they took us to the first Latino Leadership Academy, the Center for Leadership Innovation. Ever since then, they have provided us not only with funding opportunities, but also with networking opportunities and getting us to travel around the state and get to know the realities of other cities.
Salmon School is a nonprofit organization that's focused on economic development, equipping individuals with the skills needed to obtain and succeed in tech support jobs. Salmon School has done this internationally in primarily rural communities. It had worked in sub-Saharan Africa for many years. Dumas, Arkansas is a town in the Delta with roughly about 4,000 in population. And it's been shrinking for decades and, just really was looking and searching for ways in which they can build the skills of their residents for this 21st century economy. Getting them to really understand what Salmon School was about and getting students there, like that part was easy. Everyone was excited. We wanted to do it. They were there. After 2 years of implementation, Salmon School realized that, it wasn't going to work. They packed up their bags and they left. There are some legitimate reasons why. Great ideas need fertile ground. And without the community crafting a shared vision, having a vision for success, really getting into how this program could succeed in Dumas, if I had it to do over again, I would. I would actually invest in the community being able to craft a vision, work with Salmon School, and talk through how this could be a successful model. We needed match investment. So WRF was the sole supporter of Salmon School, which was okay. We started with a 2-year, $125,000 grant, then additional monies for preparing the community, and additional monies for all of the support that they would need post-Salmon School. It was a great idea to bring, and recognizing the needs of the community to bring a Salmon School there and wanting that model there, it needed more than just being a model. It needed to be surrounded with dollars and support and technical assistance at a community level. And then the other thing is, this is an investment for the long haul. Dumas did not become Dumas overnight. And so for the community to really form the relationships, gel, and for this to really have become a building block for economic development or economic improvement in Dumas, we really needed to invest for a long time. And we didn't plan for a long-term investment when we initially started the relationship.
Moving the needle was the catalyst for a decade of difference in Arkansas. It's taken courage, commitment, and collaboration to move our education, economic, and social systems forward in this state. What we're looking for is another 5 or 10 years of change. We want to work with partners that are willing to fail in this work. We want to work with innovators that are trying to create things that don't exist now, because we feel like that's the only way to push change at a pace that's going to actually make a difference in the lives of all Arkansans.
So what did we learn? What is my message? Moving forward, our charge to ourselves and to our partners is simple. Continue to fail. Continue to fail forward.